Today I'm doing a video response to another YouTube user by the name of Cape of Truth. He did a video a couple of days ago or so saying why are people Clark and Lois fans. So it's obviously to do with Superman and Smallville, so if you watch Smallville you'll know exactly what's happening. So I said I was going to do a video response, and I did read some comments on the video itself from other people, and what I found was that some people are preferring the whole Clark and Clois relationship, or the Clark and Lana relationship, but personally for me I actually do prefer the Clark and Lois relationship, purely because that's exactly what is going on in the Superman universe. Clark and Lois are destined to be with each other, and we know that they do end up together. It's a perfect relationship because you've got Clark, who is the bumbling reporter. Lois is like the proper hard-nosed reporter who always likes to get into the thick of action, because her father being General Sam Lane, is obviously she was an army brat when she was younger and stuff like that, so she's really tough, so she's been brought up in a tough environment, so nothing really scares her in any shape or form. But at the same time, when Superman came into her life, she basically fell in love with him straight away. But as I say, you've got this relationship between her, Clark, and Superman, so it's like a triangle of relationships. Now eventually Lois knows about Clark and Superman being the same person, and what also gets me is that for Clark, in Clark's eyes, he wants for Lois to see him as just Clark Kent, not as the fact that he's also Superman, or that he's just her working colleague and stuff like that. So it all revolves around how Clark, it's as if Clark's saying to himself, how can I get Lois to notice me without having to bring Superman into the picture, things like that. When Smallville first started and came across Chloe Sullivan, the relationship between Chloe and Clark was just amazing. I thought to myself, are they replacing Lois with Chloe? Is Lois going to be out of the picture, or who is Chloe Sullivan? I've never even heard of the character Chloe Sullivan before, and it was very interesting to see the relationship develop between Clark and Chloe as time went on, and you thought to yourself, maybe they can make a go of things, but unfortunately there was Lana. It was all about Clark and Lana, and I'm thinking, right, let's just give it a rest for once, let's move it on a bit, let's see what happens between Clark and Chloe. Then obviously Lois arrived, which was I was quite pleased with, and that's when it all started. For me though, as I say, if I was to pick two of the best relationships that has been happening in Smallville, it has to be between Clark and Chloe, and obviously Clark and Lois. The whole Clark and Lana was just, it went on way too long, just way too long. Really that should have ended the moment Lois arrived, because even though at the time a lot of people who probably came in to watch the programme probably at season 4 didn't know what was actually happening, for me personally that should have been the start of when Clark and Lois was going to start. The whole Clark and Lana still continuing, and even in season 7 as well as parts of season 8 as well, they dragged it out way too much. I mean, I know we wanted it to end eventually, but I was hoping it was going to end a lot sooner than that. To then end it in season 8, it ran its course a lot longer than it should have done. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what else I'm going to say, but if you follow the comics, as I say, you know that Clark and Lois do end up together. They are married, and they, as I say, Lois knows that Clark is Superman. In the films, in Superman 2, we notice that Lois is starting to piece things together, that when Clark is never around, Superman is around, and it's like, well, you know, how can it be that Superman is here, Clark isn't? So then she finds ways of trying to convince to herself that Clark Kent is indeed Superman, which eventually happens. But as I say, if you've watched Superman 2, you'll know how the whole, how she then forgets who Superman actually is. So many other aspects. For anyone who may have watched the Lois and Clark series back in the early mid-90s, starring Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, that particular show, when Clark revealed himself as Superman to Lois, it made Lois see Clark in a different light. Now, in a sense, that's probably what Clark wanted, but at the same time, he probably didn't want that. He wanted Lois to fall in love with Clark Kent and not with, you know, Superman. It was a case of, I want you to fall in love with me as Clark Kent, you know, your work colleague, the reporter that you work with, not as Clark Kent who then turns into Superman, who's his alter ego kind of thing. So, you know, you get all that thrown in as well. In terms of who's played the best Lois, it has to be, for me, definitely Erica Durance. There is no, you know, you've had Noel Neill, you've had Margot Kidder, you've had Terry Hatcher as well, but for me, and even Kate Bosworth, but for me, it's got to be Erica Durance, hands down. That's all I'm going to say. She has given, she follows, the way she portrays Lois is pretty much how I perceive her to be in the comics. As I say, she's tough, she's independent, strong-headed. She just goes out there and, you know, will help people regardless of the safety of herself, because she knows that 9 times out of 10 Superman's going to save her, or in the case of Smallville, the Blur is going to save her, or at least make sure that she's not in harm's way or anything like that. So yeah, all these aspects, you know, of Clark and Lois, it all at the end of the day comes together in the fact that it's the relationship that they have with each other that makes them a really good couple. You know, there's nothing else to it. When you've got someone who is a superhero as well as a reporter and is working with a woman who used to, you know, was raised by a general and knows pretty much everything there is about the military, and is just so strong-headed and treats Clark like the little brother or big brother or anything or something like that, to get on together like they do, it shows that they were obviously meant to be together. There's no ifs and buts about it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think as well. This is a video response to Cape of Truth's video as well, so you let me know what you think about it as well, mate, and if anyone else has got any comments, put it down at the bottom, and do not forget to subscribe as well. Night.